only for we party and country. Vote for the PPPC.
The People's Progressive Party Civic is committed to realizing its goal for all Guyanese to be able to enjoy a high standard of living. It is this commitment that has driven the policies of the administration over the past 2 decades, a period in which we have seen our country progress on both the economic and social fronts. We want to build on this progress, to continue to execute existing policies and introduce new, far-reaching programs that would provide the opportunities for a better life for all Guyanese, with particular focus on our children, women, single parents, and other vulnerable groups, and our indigenous people. When we speak about a better life, we envision our people being able to have greater access to improved social services and affordable housing, more jobs being created, where they're able to live in a safer environment and in a society where their rights are fully respected. The party's manifesto sets out a clear path for the attainment of this objective. One of the key pillars of the foundation of a nation is education. The policies that will be pursued to consolidate the gains made in our education sector and to ensure that the curricula equips our young people for the requirements of the new frontiers of economic growth will include the following. Ensuring universal access across all levels. We've already attained the Millennium Development Goal of universal primary education, and we will work to achieve universal nursery and secondary education, increasing the number of trained teachers, implementing an enhanced early childhood education program, targeting children with special education needs, incorporating and integrating ICT in the classrooms, improving the quality of our tertiary education that is offered at the University of Guyana. And here, we hope that we can enhance the quality of that education at the campuses, both at Turkine and Tain, and also seek to provide university-level education to residents on the Essequibo coast, initially through the provision of extramural classes, with a view to establishing a university campus there, as well as expanding online programs for the rural and interior regions. We also want to enhance opportunities in technical and vocational education, ensuring that the technical institutes in the regions are adequately equipped. Establishing centers of excellence for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as the arts and modern languages. Expanding the school guidance and counselors program. Implementing programs to mitigate dropouts and enhance retention at senior levels of secondary schools, and working with the private sector and tertiary institutions to facilitate access to students to both practical training and employment opportunities. It has often been said that the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation. Our health agenda includes the following: expanding services such as neurosurgery and renal health, including dialysis and kidney transplants, expanding doctor-provided home-based care across the country, constructing new polyclinics with x-rays, laboratories, and dental and eye services in different regions, upgrading the hospitals at Bartica, Lethem, Mabaruma, and Madhya into regional hospitals, providing support for pregnant women and their children, expanding the health fund to support persons who need to pay for health care, expanding substance abuse rehabilitation programs across the country, increasing postgraduate specialist training for doctors and nurses, and completing the specialty hospital for advanced health care services that would be available to Guyanese and foreign patients. I turn to the housing sector. With the gains advanced in the last 2 decades, we want to pursue this program by, in part, the following: creating new settlement areas, accelerating the grant of certificates of title to land, facilitating the construction of 5,000 turnkey homes for persons of low affordability and persons with special needs, expanding the young professional schemes, expanding housing in the hinterland, establishing a revolving fund to allow low-income groups to access concessional funds more readily. The development of new housing areas and environmentally friendly spaces and recreational areas will be carried out through the creation of a new sustainable urban community on the Soesdijk-Linden Highway that would include residential households as well as retail, industrial, tourism, social and recreational facilities. The development of 2 sites zoned for leisure activities south of the Georgetown seawall, creating industrial and commercial zones within new and existing settlement areas, and creating homesteads to target low-income households in regions 2, 5, 6, and 10. With regard to access to water, the program to improve water services in each region will continue, and an integrated water resources management framework will be prepared and subsequently implemented. Sports and culture are crucial to the enhancement of the life of any people. And so we will be enhancing our sporting facilities, incorporating programs in schools, and building 3 new regional multipurpose facilities in Berbice, Essequibo, and Linden. With regard to culture, we will be promoting cultural development as a national priority objective by improving existing cultural legislation, supporting festivals and artistic performances in all 10 administrative regions, the establishment of artistic, heritage, cultural, and historic centers across the country. This is critical in creating and preserving our Guyanese identity. Our young people have an important role to play in the building of our nation. We've listened attentively to their views over the past few weeks, and we encourage them to continue to demonstrate their belief in our country and to truly see themselves as the future of Guyana. The manifesto includes the following youth development initiatives: special support arrangements to be explored for young married couples, providing targeted training using technical institutes and secondary schools to meet the skills needs of specific regions and communities, developing training and employment partnerships with private businesses and public enterprises, developing bridging employment programs for secondary school leavers, providing on-the-job experience through internships and apprenticeships, and online vocational courses for working people. We will continue through the Board of Industrial Training to train at an average about 3,000 young persons annually in areas such as heavy-duty equipment operators, mechanics, block makers, masonry, and other trades related to the construction industry. Development policies would only be successful if they made special accommodation for the vulnerable groups in society. We have outlined some specific programs as follows. First, relating to children. Enacting regulations in keeping with the Child Care and Development Services Act to control the care for children in child care facilities, ensuring compliance with the licensing and registration process for child care facilities, Establishing a multi-sectoral interagency, including the Health and Education Ministries, the National Commission on Disabilities, and the Child Care and Protection Agency that would monitor the implementation of the Early Childhood Development Program. We will also enhance the capacity of the Child Care and Protection Agency in all of the administrative regions. Coordinating with the police and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to ensure that cases are given priority, particularly in cases of sexual abuse or violence. Develop more effective systems of tracking and monitoring reports and cases to ensure that they are addressed in a timely manner and for the proper protection of our children. Expediting the operationalizing of the family court and enacting the Juvenile Justice Bill, as well as strengthening foster care and adoption services. With regard to women, our Constitution states, and I quote, "All forms of discrimination against women on the basis of gender or sex are illegal," and this party upholds that. We will be reviewing laws that relate to women and strengthen legislation and policies where necessary in order to further promote women's rights and gender equality. We will encourage economic empowerment through access to microfinance programs in the commercial banking system and the establishment of micro and small businesses through the Small Business Council. Provide more skilled human, technical, and financial resources to address the implementation of the National Plan of Action on Sexual and Domestic Violence, and establish more safe homes for abused women. Initiating community counseling centers to provide support for the eradication of family violence and other types of violence, as well as other social ills, and working with communities to educate against violence. We also will be seeking to address teenage pregnancy by ensuring the full implementation of the Health and Family Life Education program in secondary schools to equip adolescents with knowledge and skills to make more informed choices about their health, including their sexual well-being, to reduce teenage pregnancy, and introduce second chance programs for teenage mothers, as well as counseling services to target expectant teen mothers. Men and boys are not left out of this, and we will be developing specialized programs in the educational sector to address male absenteeism and dropouts, developing programs to promote responsible fatherhood, partnering with civil society and community-based organizations. The vulnerable groups, such as the homeless, elderly, and the disabled, those persons who are differently abled, we will also be ensuring that we cater for their needs. Single parents as well. I turn to indigenous peoples. Enshrined in the Constitution of Guyana is the right of our indigenous peoples to the protection, preservation, and promulgation of their languages, cultural heritage, and way of life. The PPPC remains committed to the development of the indigenous peoples, and apart from enhanced programs to achieve this, the Manifesto includes special projects to revive indigenous languages and the provision of resources to ensure cultural revival, production, and sustainability of indigenous art forms. The PPPC has recognized, and indeed we share the concern of fellow citizens, that more needs to be done to combat crime. Working with the law enforcement agencies, the PPPC will aggressively implement measures that would seek to guarantee safer streets and communities and engender confidence in those who are charged with policing. I could have highlighted only some of the programs and activities that relate to our vision to provide a better life for our people. At the core of the wide-ranging scope of the programs in the manifesto is the party's genuine care and desire to ensure that the people of Guyana can enjoy their lives in comfort with dignity and decency. They deserve no less and should expect no less from our party. We, for our part, are prepared to deliver. I commend this manifesto to the electorate and to the nation of Guyana as a whole. I thank you.
I am pleased today to launch the manifesto of the People's Progressive Party Civic. We, within the PPP Civic, have always taken seriously the process of developing and launching our manifestos. This manifesto is our pact with the Guyanese people. It represents what we stand for and what we commit to doing and achieving for you, the Guyanese people. It details our policies, goals, and objectives for the next 5 years, and more importantly, the means through which we are going to achieve these policies, goals, and objectives. This launch is not a public relations gimmick. We are not here to buy votes with grand promises or with conjuring illusions of unrealistic futures. We have much gimmickry to those, we leave such gimmickry to those whose historical record has been one of promising Guyanese people the moon and the stars, while their failed policies drove our economy into the ground. This manifesto is based on moving Guyana towards a vision that we have developed in concert with the Guyanese people. That vision is of a sovereign, modern, and developed country, providing regional and hemispheric leadership on matters of concern to the global community. Ours is a vision of Guyana as a growing economy, creating jobs, income, and wealth for our people. It is a Guyana endowed with world-class infrastructure that supports our industries and businesses, and from which revenues are derived to guarantee our people world-class education, superior health care, reliable and affordable electricity, water, housing, and other social services. It is a Guyana in which our people are united, in which there is greater social and religious tolerance. It is a Guyana governed by the rule of law and in which every citizen can live secure and safely, free from both internal and external threats. A Guyana where everyone can aspire to be the best that they can be. Under the PPP Civic, we have come a long way towards achieving this vision. The policies and programs outlined in this manifesto are aimed at taking us within the next 5 years within touching distance of this vision, one that is shared by and is good for all Guyanese. The policies and the plans contained in this manifesto build on our accomplishments in government, including almost a decade of sustained and impressive economic growth rates, a remarkable feat given the often hostile and disadvantageous international economic environment to which Guyana has been subjected. The PPP Civic has a proud track record of political, economic, and social achievements. Because of the PPP Civic, Guyanese can boast about living in a democratic country in which free and fair elections are held on a periodic basis. We have consolidated the democratic gains secured in 1992. We have restored this country to financial viability. We have restored its creditworthiness. We have rebuilt the infrastructure. We have vastly improved its social services. Over the past 23 years, we have given Guyana a new lease of life. We have restored hope and dignity, and particularly for the young people of Guyana, we have rekindled in them the belief that great things are possible for them in this country. It is because of our track record that today the PPP Civic is supremely confident that the ambitious plans detailed in this manifesto will be realized within the next 5 years, and that Guyanese will continue to enjoy a better life under the PPP Civic government. Let me now address the broad strategic focus informing our manifesto. We will, broadly speaking, promote growth, job creation, and income and wealth generation through economic policies geared at modernizing the traditional sectors of the economy, boosting manufacturing and tourism, creating economic and free zones, ensuring food and energy security, and breaking new ground in the provision of environmental services and green growth. This broad thrust to sustain economic growth, create jobs, and generate increased income and wealth will be supported through the pursuit of a number of transformative infrastructural projects, such as the Amila Falls Hydroelectric Project. We will build it. The extension of the Timeri International Airport, the construction of an all-weather road to Brazil, for which planning has already commenced. The building of a bridge across the Corentyne River, linking Guyana and Suriname. The construction of a deep water harbor at the mouth of the Berbice River, and a new bridge across the Demerara River. This trust to ensure economic growth, supported by massive transformative infrastructural projects, will create the resources necessary to ensure that we can further enhance the well-being of our people. In terms of enhancing the well-being of our people, we will pursue policies and plans aimed at making life materially better for all, paying special attention to children, single parents, our indigenous peoples, and the elderly. In the social sector, we will continue the strides made in education. I have noted that the opposition parties have indicated that they will establish computer labs in every secondary and primary school. They are living in the past, my friends. We are already doing so. We have already been doing that in secondary schools, and we are well advanced towards doing the same in primary schools. The PPP Civic will, within the next 5 years, ensure that every child in Guyana has a secondary education. We have already ensured universal primary education. We will also transform the University of Guyana into a world-class institution, employing diverse and modern methods in the delivery of knowledge. We will also narrow gaps in educational achievement. In the health sector, we will, amongst other things, over the next 5 years, complete the specialty hospital, thus allowing Guyanese to access treatment that is presently unavailable in Guyana. The PPP civic government will build a 100-bed ward at the East Bank Regional Hospital, establish a new hospital at Port Kaituma, and complete the new maternity wing at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. We will also implement a system of house visits by doctors. We will continue to expand our housing program. As part of this expansion, we will build a new urban community on the Suzdijk-Linden Highway. We will also construct 5,000 additional turnkey homes to target low and middle-income families. Over the next 5 years, we will also be placing increased emphasis on fighting crime and protecting our people. We will employ a holistic and comprehensive strategy to achieve greater security within our country. This will entail providing greater resources, improving emoluments to our lawmen, strengthening our laws to allow for better enforcement and prosecution, employing technology in intelligence gathering and crime investigation, and reducing the response time by the police to crimes. This manifesto also echoes the PPP Civic's committal to maintaining internationally acceptable standards of government. We are committed to governing justly and fairly, respecting human rights, deepening local democracy, improving transparency and accountability, and rooting out corruption from our society. I can go on, but I would leave you to read for yourselves what our manifesto proclaims. You will, in so doing, appreciate that what we are laying before the Guyanese people is a most comprehensive document. Our manifesto touches on every sector of our country, but more importantly, we have provided in this manifesto not just what we intend to do, but the rationale behind our plans, as well as specifics as to how we will achieve our goals and objectives. The PPP Civic is a historic party. We have never promised what is beyond our capacity. We have never cultivated false expectations. We have never deceived the Guyanese people. We deliver on our promises. We will deliver on what we have promised in this manifesto to the people of our country. I thank you for your attention.
It is time to rally for we party and country.